You know, Halloween is all about getting scared, right? We love haunted houses, we watch horror movies, we basically look for things that go bump in the night. But for some people, the most terrifying moments aren't part of any show. We're going to get into 3 true stories where the Halloween fun turned into a desperate fight to survive.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the scariest part of Halloween? Is it the ghosts and goblins, the spooky decorations on someone's lawn, or the scary stories you tell with the lights out?
Well, as we're about to see, the real horror, it's not found in any of that stuff. It's not something manufactured for fun.
Now, it's that split second, that moment your blood runs cold, when you realize the person lurking in the shadows isn't wearing a costume for fun, and the threat you're facing is terrifyingly real.
All right, so let's dive into our first story. It starts out like any other Halloween night. We've got a 22-year-old guy who, after a long day at work, does a nice thing and agrees to take his 15-year-old sister and his little 11-year-old nephew out trick-or-treating.
And it was a great night, you know? They got a ton of candy. One neighbor was even giving out hot dogs. But as the night winds down and the crowds start to disappear, the whole vibe starts to change. It gets quieter, darker, and they're a lot more alone.
And this right here is where everything changes. Because he's paying attention, he spots something that just feels off. It's a person, dressed head to toe in black, standing completely still in a dark yard, just watching them.
And he doesn't just brush it off. His reaction is instant. He quietly warns his sister and nephew, letting them know he's taking this seriously, even though his nephew kinda laughs, thinking it's just a Halloween decoration or a prank.
And you guessed it, that gut feeling was spot on. Suddenly, they hear it, the unmistakable sound of heavy boots on the pavement behind them. The figure steps out of the shadows, and now they can see they're wearing tactical gear and a full spandex mask. There's no doubt about it anymore. They're being followed.
Okay, so they finally make it to their car, and this is where it all goes down. He makes the decision to draw his legally carried weapon and demands to know what's going on. The follower pulls off the mask, and it's a woman, maybe in her 30s, and she spins this totally bizarre, nonsensical story about being an undercover cop.
But he calls her bluff. Her story makes no sense. And that's when her whole attitude just shifts. She drops the act and says this, an absolutely chilling threat that confirms every one of his fears. Their lives were absolutely in danger.
And just as she says that, the true horror of the situation becomes clear. From the shadows between the houses, 4 more people in the exact same tactical gear step out, all of them with these blank, empty expressions. This was no random creep. This was planned. It was a group.
So that first threat was, wow, it was organized, it was right in their face. This next one, though, it's a little different. It shows how danger can be quiet, almost hiding in plain sight, in a place that's supposed to be totally safe, a family resort during its big Halloween party. Yeah, the terror in this one, it's more of a slow burn, you know. It starts with a 12-year-old kid on a haunted hayride who just notices a man in regular street clothes who just doesn't fit in. Then he sees him again by the bonfire, always just on the edge of the woods, always watching. And finally, it all comes to a head when the man confronts him and his friend directly.
And this right here is so important. It's that classic battle between our logical brain and our gut instinct. The boy's friend, Ryan, keeps trying to explain it away. Oh, maybe he's a dad, or maybe he works here. But the narrator's gut is just screaming at him that something is seriously wrong.
So the man follows them onto this dark trail, and then he makes his move. He offers them candy and says the absolute classic Predator line, trying to use the whole spirit of Halloween to lure them away from the lights and the people back to his cabin. Thank God the boys' fight or flight just kicks in. They don't hesitate, they just run. The man actually chases them for a bit, but then he just melts back into the woods and disappears. By the time the police and resort security show up, there's absolutely no trace of him.
Okay, so for our last story, we're bringing the danger right to the one place you're supposed to be safest, your own home. This story is a perfect example of how the noise and all the people roaming around on Halloween can be the perfect cover for something truly evil.
And this isn't some chaotic break-in. It's slow, it's methodical. It starts with a faint knock on a side door that could easily be mistaken for trick-or-treaters at the wrong door. But then it gets worse. The back doorknob starts to turn, slowly. A man is spotted outside with a crowbar. Then comes the sound of a window screen being pried off. And finally, the unmistakable sound of cracking glass.
So the whole time this is happening, the homeowner, Roger, is on the phone with 911. And the timing, my gosh, just as the guy breaks the basement window, police lights flash across the room. The officers arrive in the absolute nick of time, tackling the intruder as he tries to run. The relief must have been just unbelievable.
And when they catch this guy, they realize this was not just a simple robbery. Inside this backpack, sure, there's a crowbar to get in, but there's also duct tape, zip ties, a handgun, kitchen knives, and rope. I mean, think about it. Those are not the tools of a burglar. They are the tools of a kidnapper, or something much, much worse.
So, wow. After hearing those 3 stories, what's the takeaway? What's the lesson here? Because even though each story is wildly different, they all teach us the exact same critical lessons about how to stay safe.
Look, in every single case, their survival came down to the same 3 things. It wasn't luck. First, they were paying attention. They noticed the person who didn't belong. Second, they trusted their gut. They didn't let themselves or anyone else talk them out of that feeling that something was wrong. And third, they acted decisively. They ran. They called 911. They prepared to defend themselves without a second thought.
It just goes to show you, right? The real danger out there, it doesn't have fangs or a monster mask. It looks normal. It hides in plain sight, using the fun and chaos of a holiday like Halloween as its perfect camouflage.
So I want to leave you with this, a quote from the guy in our very first story, and it's something that really sticks with you. It's a sobering reminder that being safe isn't just about what you do, but about what you see and what you feel. You have to stay aware, trust those instincts, and always be prepared, because you really never know who might be watching.